In this video, I'm going to talk about the 10 things that went wrong with this DJI Flip. 10 worst things about it. What's up, everyone? FC here from Drone and Tech Review, and I am a huge fan of DJI, and I've made several videos on this product, the DJI Flip, after owning it for several weeks now. And I'm going to tell you 10 things wrong with it. And unlike all the other vloggers out there who are giving this for free, you know, they say it's the best product, best selfie drone ever, best vlogging drone ever. But I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you 10 things wrong about it, maybe mention a couple things good about it, but tell you that this is not a good drone. This is an okay drone and really not up to the standards of DJI. I love the Mini 4 Pro and the Neo, and I even bought the new DJI Avoidance bike. They made an e-bike for $12,000, and I have it just because it is 2 years ahead of the competition. I believe DJI is the greatest technology, one of the greatest technology companies today, and they made a product here which is not quite up to their standard. So the first problem with the DJI Flip is that it follows one of the best product DJI's ever built, the DJI Neo. This thing does something that many other DJI drones don't do. It's so easy to fly. It is so portable. It's so quick and fast and handy and agile. And it's only $199. 5 of my friends bought this with their own money. 2 ex-drone owners, expensive drones, and a few that have never owned drones before. And they're so happy. You know, I'm still their hero because I recommended this to them. And this comes at the heels of this guy. The package they really want to sell is the $779 versus $199. And it's not as good as the Neo in many things. All right, the second problem that went wrong with this Flip is the product requirements. Anytime you make a product, there's always a product specification. A product manager says, what are we going to build? And they said, okay, what you need to build is the marriage of the Neo, you know, easy to fly, and the Mini 4 Pro, super successful. So we want the Neo, but we want that high-res camera on it, 1.6 camera on it, and that big battery for long range, and make it happen. But it has to be under 250 grams, and that's where it all went wrong. So they wanted captured blades under 250 grams with good power, and physics, material science just does not allow that kind of situation at the moment. So there is, you know, basically when you see so many limitations of this drone, it's because why they do this, why they do that for a $779 drone? It's because they ran out of room, they ran out of weight, 249 grams for this. And so they had to omit so many little things that would have made this drone so much better. Okay, the third problem of this drone is it's noisy. This was pretty noisy, high-pitched noise, and we were like, okay, that's because the blades are so small. So maybe make it a little quieter by making the blades bigger, just as quiet as this guy. This thing is a silent assassin. So fast, so quiet. So why don't we hear it right here?
3, 2, 1.
The level of your face is pretty loud. All right, the fourth problem that went wrong with this guy is the wind resistance. It does not resist wind very well. And DJI is not very honest about it. Level 5 wind resistance, up to 23 miles an hour. And this one, they say, is level 5 as well. But let me tell you.
3, 2, 1. Unable to take off. Aircraft.
See what it does? We'll talk about that in a little bit. So what it does is anything over 12, 15 miles an hour, this thing shakes like crazy. It just goes like this. Like, what in the world are you doing? You know, I can barely feel the wind and you're doing this. Luckily, he has 3-axis stabilization, but still, there's no hiding that it can't really handle wind because of these, I guess because of the propeller guards. And how that affects you is the footage itself becomes very shaky. Even with stabilization, if it's doing this the whole time, you're going to see the shake in the footage. I'm like, what in the world? The other problem is when it's flying against the wind, to return back to you, or to go to its destination, it slows way down, way down. And sometimes you get a 15-mile-an-hour wind, you're going against the wind, it almost not moving. And so that could create a dangerous situation where you can't get your drone back, or you run out of battery because you can't like fight the wind. All right, so unfortunate. Number 5 is the ergonomics, the positioning of the buttons, the form. It's bad, right? A couple times I'm first trying to hold the drone, and then keep pressing the buttons. I don't even know what buttons I'm pressing because they're not labeled. Okay, so basically, the buttons are on the side, and you can barely see them. And they say, so when you're trying to launch them, this guy, the buttons are right on top. You can see the labels. It's all good. Here, you can't even see. You try to look there, but your fingers are right there. So bad ergonomics on the buttons. What the heck happened? This thing was so nice and neat. This thing too, right on top. What happened to the buttons on top? So you could do this stuff. Instead, what you gotta do is you gotta pinch launch it. And the other thing is when it's on the ground, there's no landing uh, pads whatsoever. So your blade is millimeters from the ground. So if you have the shortest blades of grass, you're gonna punch through, and it's gonna prevent you from taking off. So just bad ergonomics on this guy. All right, the number 6 weakness is obstacle avoidance is poor, almost non-existent on this guy. That's what makes the Mini 4 Pro awesome and why you buy it. It has omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, ground detection, side detection. Everything is good. This thing, it only has front obstacle sensing, obstacle avoidance, but it's LiDAR. So it's good in low light, supposedly, but it's always confused. It just stops randomly when it's facing the sun, when it has some mist. And the other thing is its only mode when it sees an obstacle is to stop, which is really painful. It can't bypass, which is what avoidance is supposed to do, right? It's basically obstacle stop. So more often than not, it's just a crutch. People actually would rather just turn off that obstacle, the front sensing obstacle avoidance, because it is a real half-baked sensor. That's what's in there. All right, the next problem is pretty darn serious, and this is why I wouldn't buy this drone, is because the image tracking, the follow me mode is not good. It's not good at all. This thing is pretty darn good. It's quick, agile, small, bumps into things, no problem. It can follow me on a downhill mountain bike ride. Not too fast, but it can follow me on a single track. Pretty darn good. This thing, no chance. I tried several times, and by the time this thing has followed me for a couple minutes, this thing has already lost me 4 or 5 times. Really painful. And then it keeps stopping. It gets confused by light. It gets confused by light mist. So can't follow very well. Another problem with this drone is the form factor. The form factor is not good. It doesn't look good. It looks fragile. And it's big. It's much bigger than the Neo, and bigger than the Mini 4 Pro. So this is your super agile Mini 4 Pro, and this is your Flip. I mean, what the heck is this? How are you gonna pack this? When you're talking selfie drone or a vlogging drone, it has to be portable, packable, easy. Do they forget that? And how do you even store this? You can't even set it on a table easily. It just kind of rests on the camera. So the way I set it is like this, and it just kind of gets this all dirty and scratched up. So, and it has these carbon fiber spokes on the wheels. How do you even repair that? I think they came across the 250-gram limit so fast that they had to just resort to these crazy designs just to get this thing off the ground, so to speak. Okay, the number 9 problem, what went wrong with this guy right here, is there's no FPV mode available. One of the beauties of this guy right here, $199, there's 4 modes of controlling it. They even came out with an FPV controller that is so cheap and affordable for people to get into that. That option, not available here. You buy it for $779. No, you can't do the FPV. Doesn't work. Maybe later, maybe not. And the last problem with the DJI Flip, I would say, is there's so many inconsistencies. For this amount of money, 779 for the Fly More combo, it's such a half-baked product. Meaning what's available, the settings available on the phone with the controller are so disjointed. There's some you could do with the phone, some you can't you can do with the controller, and it's like a half baked. Like they've two groups built the system and they forgot to talk to each other. Things like when you're controlling it with the RC2, you can't have audio with it, but you can have that when you're controlling it with the phone. A lot of settings, the camera settings, that are so important because you put that high-end camera on this drone. You can't play with it. You can't touch the settings uh, when you are in self-flying mode. So really kind of unfortunate. And tied into that, what's really poor is everyone recognizes their weaknesses, these weaknesses, and they say, "Oh, firmware update, firmware update. Hopefully it'll get fixed. Hopefully you'll get it." There's like 10 of these things that hopefully will get fixed on a firmware update. Well, tell you what, they should have been fixed on launch date number one. If this product was really going to be worthy of the DJI name, don't have bugs. Just have features that you add later. But, to have glaring products that are present at launch time, not a good look. Not a good look. But after all, it does something universally that everyone agrees
Aircraft will
is good.
power off in 5 seconds. Press any button on aircraft.
It powers off automatically. There you go. Not to be negative, but I'm here to be completely brutally honest. Don't buy the $779 Fly More package of this thing. Maybe the low one, the $430 one, if you don't have either one of these drones. If you do, this thing is no room. It's just kind of not there. I think DJI's got to do better for the company status that they are. All right. Thanks a ton, everyone. Please share in the comments what you think of this little beast right here.